Tell us what's the latest happening in New York. It seems like New York is really where we're seeing most of these closures and things really slowing down at the moment. And the fact that sports leagues are canceling games, I mean, this is all feeling quite real now.
Yeah, I mean, when in the U.S., when sports starts canceling, when Disneyland closes, and when Broadway has restrictions on it, that's when you know it's real. This is hitting the, sports is sort of often the last thing to go in the U.S., right? And now we've seen all the major leagues, the NBA, but then followed by hockey, the March Madness, the NCAA tournament, which is a huge, not only sports, but kind of a cultural event in the U.S. is not going to go on. Major League Baseball is delaying opening day, stopping spring training, delaying opening day, and says they won't for 2 weeks at the start of the season at least. So it really is hitting home. New York City declared a state of emergency, partly to be able to control large crowds. We've seen it affect also the campaign trail. Really rallies and everything, certainly from the Democratic candidates, have ground to a halt. They will have their debate on Sunday in Washington, in a studio in Washington, without a live audience, which is the first time, obviously, that has happened on this debate, this campaign cycle.
And other American cities, are they expected to follow suit? And, when someone declares a state of emergency, what powers does that give local governments like mayors and governors, I would imagine?
Yeah, so basically it allows them to control big crowds, to control events, to shut things down. And so I assume, yes, we will be seeing this with other major cities. We're seeing school closures. Ohio is closing a lot of its schools. New York had started doing that. We saw that in Washington state. So we're really starting to see that across the country. The U.S. was obviously slow to this. It did not happen like it did in Asia, where, the first thing in Hong Kong and other, and certainly in China, was to close the schools. Even Japan closed its schools for a while. So this is, the U.S. is sort of not set up for this. Also, they did not have the experience of SARS that Asian countries did, and really SARS did not hit the U.S. So this is something that they're sort of figuring out as they go along. Anthony Fauci saying that he's concerned that they're not set up in terms of the medical system, certainly not in terms of testing. So this is all happening very quickly now. Governments are having to respond and quickly, and I think we'll see a lot more of this in coming days, of these kinds of things. Also encouraging employees to work from home. Twitter has done that now, and I think we'll start seeing a lot more of that. Again, companies, they're not used to doing this, but they're going to have to come up with their emergency plans pretty quickly now as it spreads across the whole U.S.